Yo, what's going on, guys? When we get over today's market recap, gonna be a pretty quick one. Um, Pretty similar to yesterday, just pretty poor price action overall. No really good opportunity. There was one decent setup that I'll go over that I ended up fading, and I'm going to explain why. But yeah, overall coming into market open, I was definitely leaning more bullish. Higher time frame wise, we're in a clear market maker buy model. And yeah, overall just respecting bullish on the higher time frame, disrespecting bearish. Pretty simple stuff. Draws on liquidity higher, just failure swings inside the range. And then, of course, lower time frame wise, we're kind of looking a little bit bearish, but still technically bullish within this range because we're still respecting CE of this range. We're not really flipping through any key levels here, higher time frame wise either. So overall, still pretty bullish. But I could have seen a potential like PO3 if you wanted to come down and sweep out this liquidity and then take out Asia, which is inside of a 4 hour potentially, or the internal low of the range. That's why we set conditions and stuff. So yeah. Sorry. But coming into market open, we had a 30-minute gap just right here. And yeah, let's just see how it opens. So market ends up opening lower here, I believe. Yeah, and then it sort of edges, not edges, but puts in a really steep low inside this range for the internal low right here. That'll look like that we wanted to target. And then it just completely ended up flipping, and we end up inversing this 5 minute fair value gap. So at this point now, I was more bullish than I was bearish, a lot more bullish, because we did have an hourly unfilled above us, opening up at 10 o'clock, and we had this 5 minute which just got inversed inside of this huge 4 hour that we're currently inside of right now. I don't really like big gaps like this because it's kind of, I don't know, it feels like they're kind of redundant. They don't really have rejection points. It's kind of just higher time frame wise. Like we could mess around in it for a really long time and then close above it in like the next 4 hours, for example, because you know it's a whole last 4 hour candle. But yeah, now I had a condition coming in, and there was this 5 minute, and this 5 minute got inversed. So at this point now, I was looking for longs towards this hourly unfilled gap with this little internal high that we had leading towards it. And yeah, so any retrace here inside of this range would have been great. And unfortunately enough, we actually don't end up getting one until we hit that hourly gap. And then from here, we ended up selling off a little bit, I believe, after a lot of chop, and then we opened up this 5 minute fair value gap right here. If I want to just skip to the next candle, there it is. So open up this 5 minute right here, and I was looking at this as a condition as well. Honestly, if we were to respect this, I was potentially going to take shorts. Now I did really like this right here. This is the idea of shorts that we had today, which looked clean, but overall I faded it, and the reason why I faded this was simply because of how ES was looking at this time. If we want to go to 1041 and look at where ES was at 1041, ES was literally up here. So ES just left a failure swing. ES just retraced to a 15 minute fair value gap, and then now it looked like it was distributing, so I did not want to take this trade. And the only way this trade would have played out is if we, exactly what happened, if we got an SMT and then decided to come lower. But overall, I think this trade on NQ looks A+, but on the S&P 500, like C-. Like this trade looks horrible on the S&P 500, but it looks pretty good on NASDAQ. So yeah, there's definitely fair to accept the risk for this if you wanted to, but overall, I always give respect to the S&P 500, so I did not end up taking this trade. And then the second, I think we ended up messing around a little bit here, and then right here, I think it was, yeah, so right here we ended up taking the high, and then you can see on the S&P 500, like the second we took the high, we just ripped lower. It's kind of, to be honest, I don't like this trade. I think this trade is more like luck based, because if the S&P 500 didn't decide to just wick out this high and then have another retrace lower for some reason before going higher again, this trade would have completely failed. Like if the S&P 500, for example, just took this as a reaction off the 15 minute, did what it did, and then ended up having like a body closure through this high, 1,000,000% would have got stopped out of that trade. Alright, and that's like kind of the reason why I decided to fade it. But overall, I do think this is good. If you went for a 1-to-1, you would have got your 1-to-1. If you went for the full draw, you would have got taken out at break even, or your stop loss would have got hit. So yeah, overall, pretty poor price action, and I think this is definitely trade of the day. This 5 minute here, this continuation on the 5 minute is 100% trade of the day, but I wouldn't take it even if it came and presented itself again, simply because of the S&P 500 was in no position whatsoever to really go lower. and as you can see, we ended up moving a lot higher and taking our previous day high in the end, which was my final draw on liquidity for that day, for today. So yeah, overall, pretty poor price action, not good opportunity. The one trade that was okay, that did end up playing out, which was traded today, but still pretty poor in my opinion. I probably rate this like, on Nasdaq again, it's like A plus, but on the S&P 500, it's C minus. It's a really, really bad trade if you're looking at the S&P 500. But overall, I think it was worth a shot if you had conviction. And yeah, that's literally it. So pretty short recap. Not really much price action today. Pretty shit overall in my opinion. And yeah, except for that, I'm going to catch you guys in the next video, which will be tomorrow. No trades today from me, of course. Let me know in the comments if you guys took any trades today, or if you ended up taking a different setup, or a short, or long, whatever, or got break even, stop loss. Doesn't matter. It's always interesting to see what other people are taking. And yeah, I'm excited for the future of this YouTube channel. I'll be documenting my entire journey to profitability on here. So yeah, it's gonna be good. But except for that, I hope you guys have a blessed rest of your evening or day or wherever you are in the world, and I will catch you guys tomorrow. So peace out.